the Inner Fitness Project is all about creating a empowered, um, whole, and reliable relationship with self. We recognize that we are so much more than the narratives that have governed our lives. And the Inner Fitness Project has invested a lot of effort in sort of streamlining and making the self-development or self-exploration easy and understandable. And so our intention is to create community where people have the opportunity to discover themselves anew. Centering is such a big part of taking charge of our lives. Taking a moment and just breathing throughout your day really begins to make more space for you. When we start to live our lives intentionally, allowing the breath to support our intention, that little bit of space begins to sweep through our narratives and our ways of showing up habitually and sweep out noise and make more room for ourselves. And our ability to transform our lives and feel better is all about us realizing that we matter. And there is no gift, or our soul appreciates our own acknowledgement of ourselves more than any other acknowledgement, because we so rarely have been taught to affirm and value ourselves. One of the gifts that we give ourselves is when we begin to stop ourselves in the midst of our habit and actually tell ourselves a deeper truth. To understand that the surviving self, the framework that we use here at the Inner Fitness Project, is just a way to help us see what is happening all the time anyway. And the more we can see it, the more we know what our options are and how we can work with ourselves more intentionally and effectively. And I've been practicing for decades, and there is room for you to move into meet and move into and work more intentionally with the higher ranges of yourself. If we don't know the power of the thriving self and the infinite self in our lives, we can't consciously opt to use them as an intervention for that surviving self habit and narrative. One of the great ways for us to begin to be mindful and take charge of our thinking is when you see habits that are no longer of service to you. You get to say, up until now, that's how I've done it. Up until now, that's how I've seen it. Up until now, that's how I felt. But from this point forward, and that little phrase helps to open your being to a new possibility. And the only way that we change our lives is by getting into our subconscious, which is, where the surviving self, all of the selves are a part of our subconscious, our deep knowing. So you will be able to make change by becoming conscious, by asserting a repetition, and by allowing yourself to feel how you want to be, to feel the life that you want, to be excited about your incremental changes. That is how you will transform your life. And it will feel good, and you will ask yourself what took you so doggone long to start being with yourself in a more loving and embracing way. What you are inviting in is a deeper and more conscious relationship with the higher range of you. The surviving self is real and important and brings value. But if we get caught living our lives and seeing ourselves in the small space that is the surviving self, we cannot and will not know joy. We cannot and will not know happiness, because the surviving self is not about those things. It is focused on our survival. And you can't expect a person who was running in the woods to be thinking about happiness. A part of the value of spending time with yourself, investing in areas where you get to explore and challenge your narrative, is that it really does elevate. It gives you an elevated sense of possibility. That is a key way that the thriving self gets strengthened. And so whenever you are feeling like no matter what, there's a sense of possibility on your playing field, that is evidence of you being engaged with your higher self. We have a program coming up in February. We usually do it in January, but we're doing it in February this year because of my schedule. And it's called Phoenix Rising. And literally, it allows you to have the opportunity of the Phoenix rising, meaning being able to take your life right where you are and to experience what it means to shed whatever it's time to shed, so that you can move higher. And the thing about expanding into who we are is that we are children of the universe. And what we know about the universe is that it is constantly expanding. It is constantly moving out and taking up more space and revealing more from within it. And that is the most aligned way to think about ourselves. Are we expanding? What is inside of us that is looking for room to express? And if we live our lives like that, then we get to live our experience of being alive on the planet as a continual expansion into more of who we are, even as the body deteriorates, even as we complete the cycle of life and death. On the way out, we can still be expanding because we are more than these bodies. And so Phoenix Rising, which is all about conditioning our understanding and ability to expand. So you can find out more about Phoenix Rising at theinnerfitnessproject.com/Phoenix Rising as one word. I can encourage each one of you to have an intention. It doesn't have to be, it can be as simple but profound, to just give me more time. What is it that you would like to boil this year down to? Think about that and then put it in a journal and let the mysticism of your intention and the energy that it begins to attract by being written down, see how that impacts your life.